Welcome back to the Real Marc Bagwell, a wrestling docuseries with the chosen lawyer, cousin Jerry Hood. Jerry, great to see you, brother.
Wow, it's good to be seen. What's up? What's up?
What's up is the fans have been clamoring on social media for you, for Buff Bagwell, and we got a whole bunch of comments today. It's all about the fans. You guys are watching on YouTube. You're hitting the subscribe button, notification bell. You're writing your comments. You're all talking to each other, doing that on Instagram, YouTube, and then you go on to TikTok and you're thinking, is anybody going to see my comments? Oh, we saw them all right. And we're going to share a lot of them today. So get ready to become famous because the fans are wishing Buff Bagwell a happy new year and Merry Christmas.
That's big. That's big. My agent said a lot of the comments. I guess y'all went over everything and bring the comments. We love it. Good, the bad, the ugly, the bark.
This is
So
in no particular order. Where I picked some fun ones today. So I say let's jump in. Anthony Lott writes in. So these are our people, I believe, off YouTube, and they're saying, Anthony Lott, I missed you in WCW. Stay strong.
that's big. Yeah, that's good. I
We
like
loved
that.
we love Buff in WCW, and we always talked about that. But man, if Vince McMahon doesn't take WCW over, WCW keeps going. Lord only knows where Buff Bagwell's career is going at that point because he was at like the high point of his career. He was the foundation of WCW. He was a lifelong WCW guy. We missed him in WCW as well. And man, it'd been nice if WCW had stuck around.
Oh, no doubt. I wish it was there as well. I know Mark does too. And oh well, good things come to an end.
Well, listen, the one thing about when you reach a high and the high is gone is that, on the other hand, do you know how many people are wrestling on the independent circuits and never even get a sniff of the big time? And, for those of you who say, man, Buff could have wrestled for another 10 years easily in the big leagues, he did make it to the big leagues and he was as big as they got. Like when the Buff Bagwell music played out, the Buff Daddy theme song, man, he was as big as they come. Like as far as the pop he got from the crowd, those were the highlights. So never forget that he's still Buff, he's the stuff, and the girls just can't get enough. Our lady friend Michaelin Reagan, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, says, my big daddy Buffy Puffy Puffin, inspiring myself to be a better person and to be not on so many meds myself too.
That's big. Wow. Good for him. Good for her. And wish her the best. And inspiration is always something good, somebody you can look up to and somebody that inspires you. And good for you. I hope it works out for her. And good job.
I can only imagine how many female fans consider Buff hit their Buffy Puffy Puffin from
Yeah,
back.
that's
He had a few admirers, I'm sure, and some were more aggressive than others. I would say Jerry Hood. When they would see him at a restaurant, they'd see him at a pub or something. I'm sure there are women that would not let him leave unless they got that number from him, guaranteed.
probably for sure to be determined.
To be determined. Rodney Foley writes in, you so deserve a Hall of Fame spot. Amen, Rodney Foley. I agree. We've talked about this as far as, everybody knows Buff as Buff Bagwell, Marcus Alexander Bagwell, but he had so many different incarnations, the handsome stranger, right? There were so many different characters until he became Buff Daddy. And the one that you could say consistently, the man wrestled day in, day out. He was a professional. The Hall of Fame has to be calling for him one day, Jerry Hood.
Oh, for sure. We're looking for that sooner than later. And, we'll see what happens. Hopefully that call will come and, we'll just live it there, I guess.
Just remember, on the trajectory that he's going, everybody in wrestling gets for forgiveness at some point or another, and he will get his pop. He'll be back in front of the crowd one day, and I think that Hall of Fame will be called. This guy I picked out just because the name is so good. The Captain Slappy. The Captain Slappy.
Captain Slappy, what's
Captain
up?
Slappy. God knows how he came up with that name. Good to see the bigger buffer on the way back. The bigger buffer.
That's good.
And he's definitely on the way back. No question. Mick Porter. MCWH. Mick Porter. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Writes in. I hope Mark's still on the wagon and doing well. And that's the thing. People say, a lot of people confuse, are they on the wagon or are they off the wagon? So being on the wagon is a good thing. You want to be on the wagon, right, Jerry Hood? When you're off the wagon, that means when you're off your rails and bad things are happening. So Mark Bagwell, Marcus Alexander Bagwell is definitely on the wagon, the sobriety wagon that is.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like $1 million, talks like $1 million, only on the way up. So yes, he's very much on that wagon and he's doing great. Thank you, Mick Horter, for asking. Josh Eisert writes in, and this was a long one, so bear with me here. Asking him about his fans and telling him we don't want to see him go, basically saying do it for the fans. This may sound nitpicky, but he shouldn't be doing it for the fans. Now's the time to be selfish and do it for himself. No one else. I guess F. I don't know. I'm struggling myself. I want to do it for my kids, but they tell me that's not the right way to think. It has to be for me. I think Josh Eisner in his way brings up a very, very strong point. And Jerry Hood, you can help correct me here if I'm wrong. But I know Mark Bagwell loves his fans dearly. And he wants to see his fans happy. He loves to be there for them. But during his recovery right now and where Mark Bagwell's at, I believe he recognizes first and foremost he has to do it for him. If he doesn't take care of him and loves himself and gets through, he can't do this for anybody. What are your feelings?
I think you said it very well put. He's done it for so many reasons, so many times, and he's just to get better. I got to do it for my job. I got to do it for the fans. I got to do it for my family. I got to, and this time, this was it. And he knew just going through the show with Dallas, change or die, and then seeing, Scott, passing. And I think he realized, hey, I better wake up and not do it for anybody, but I got to do this for me. And after talking with him a couple times here lately, it's for him. Doesn't have to be for the money, the glory. It's got to be for him, and he realizes it. And let's say he looks good. He's healthy. He's strong. He's healthy and strong whenever he's was down and out and off the wagon. But he feels so much better, looks better. It's unbelievable the difference. And somebody you can tell, somebody that doesn't really know him, they may not be able to tell when he's on or off. But if he's here at the farm or we're hunting or we're going on that big trip, here in a couple weeks, if we can tell. And you just have to just hope for the best, like I say, and do it for yourself and no one else. And that's the guy writing in. He's absolutely right.
My gut feeling, knowing Mark Bagwell as I've known him over the past year and a bit, Jerry Hood, I mean, your family, you've known him for a lifetime now, but my gut feeling is when he's off the wagon, when he got off the wagon, a lot of it has to do the pressure that he puts on himself because of other people. People think, he's Buff Bagwell, he's got the muscles, he's so vain, he's so arrogant. If you actually got to know him, he is a Southern gentleman. He would do anything for anybody. He would stand in the middle of a grocery parking lot and sign autographs. He'd miss an airplane taking pictures with fans. This is a guy that gives himself nonstop. And I think which led to his ultimate, I'm not going to say demise, but led to his breakdown as far as when enough was enough. I think, and one of the things I told him as a friend was, you have a really hard time saying no. When people are asking you to do things, you want to give yourself, you want to give your time, and you would try to please everybody. And he took on too much. it was non-stop traveling, events, going on shows, giving interviews. And, this was not him for him. This was him for everybody else. And that, I think, ultimately is what puts so much pressure. And when you have that kind of pressure on you and you have so little time, it's easy to go to a quick fix, so to speak. And so I think that really speaks to what Josh is saying there. If Mark was doing it just for the fans, I think it'd be very easy to relapse in that sense. When Mark realizes that he has to say no and there has to be limits and there's only so much of him to go around and he's got to take care of him and love himself and make sure he's good for everybody else, I think then there's going to be a change. And that's what we're seeing in him right now. Like, this is a Mark Bagwell that I have never seen before in my life, even from the WCW days, because there he's on the road 350 days a year and he just go. Once the lights turn off and everything else, it's been a hard adjustment. It's a lot of hard adjustments for people that come from the limelight and then find the next stages of their careers. And I'm so glad for Mark Bagwell that he's finding it. He's with DDP, the Mr. Bagwell series. He's on that MCW, and things are looking great for him. And I think also he has that accountability to step back and say things are going well, but I got to stay on a certain track because I got to take care of me first and foremost. And that's where it's good, that he does the classes and he has the meetings and he has the support and love behind him. DDP and John have been great for him, and he has a lot of love and support there.
For sure. Like I said before, Dallas brings it all. He's a great champion. He brings good energy, first class, great family friend. And then Jonna, of course, overseeing everything. What a great person she is. Golden Heart, elementary school teacher. She's, wow, I've known her mother for 40 plus years. And what a great family. And with them backing him, Marcus, um, and what they bring to the table, you see the results, period.
Sky's the limit. Lady Death double X, not triple X. Lady Death, only two X's.
Uh-oh.
Hope the Bagwells had a Merry Christmas. Do you know Lady Death?
Gosh, I don't. Thanks for writing in, though. Great Christmas. We all got together. It was great. Um, it was a fun time, and missing Judy. And so the second Christmas without her, but really the first one kind of hit us hard because she passed in November was a year. And so, the first one was a month after, but this one really leading up to it and getting ready and the decorations and all that. Of course, we miss her very much. But great Christmas, family wide. Everybody was happy. I can't wait for the credit card bills to start rolling in. Let's see how much we spent. I know wow, man. Woo. But hey, we've been importing and exporting liquor, alcohol, and we'll make some of it back and we'll put it in the bank and we'll do it again here in a few months and we'll just keep bringing that money in. And deer season ends here in a month. And uh, man, we'll go back at it again, start making some money.
Want to bring that point back on Judy Bagwell because she left us not that long ago, and wrestling fans of Buff Bagwell recall when she was part of the shtick in WCW when she used to come out and everything else. But tell us again, how close was the relationship between Mark Bagwell and Judy Bagwell? And that must have hit him like a ton of bricks. Like, he's a strong individual. He's not the type to complain, but emotionally very difficult for him. I take it as far as because that the strong relationship with his mother.
Uh, yeah, you said it right. Very strong. He's a very strong person. Uh, Emotionally, his things hit him differently, and he's always been like that. But this hit him like a ton of bricks. Their relationship was second to none. That was his. That was his go-to. That was his rock. Even when he was married, of course. the wife's there, and that's it's her role. She's the wife, but still, Judy did her thing. She had to do this and she did that, and she made a list for groceries, and she had this, and she hired the housekeepers to come in, the maids and everything, and she had such a big role for him. Of course, he misses it now, and but it hit him hard, and losing her was probably one of the biggest things to ever happen to him by far.
Yeah, and you definitely feel it come the holiday season for sure because you told us in previous chapters about how Judy was the organizer of the Bagwell Christmases, and to not have the organizer there and the family matriarch, tough thing.
No
Our
doubt.
condolences. Rick Sanchez writes in, good man. At least he's trying to become a better person, admits his faults, unlike others. This is
I
so
like that.
true. Me too,
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Hood, because you think about it, how many times have you seen family members, friends, coworkers that they just want to blame everybody else? They do not want to look inward and say, what part did I have to play in this? And I can say this much about Buff Bagwell. The man, first and foremost, knows how to point a finger at himself and take the blame when it's him. And, he's probably too critical of himself, even that way. But I agree with Rick Sanchez. He's admitting his faults and he's being open and honest. And that's the best way to live. And I wish others, in watching Marc Bagwell's recovery and see how he's come around and hear his words, maybe look within yourself, see where you're at in life, and may that inspire you to be the best you that you can be. If you have a substance issue and you've been thinking about maybe I need to go to rehab, maybe I need to turn things around, or maybe you're overstressed and you're thinking about taking some sort of substance, do you think it'll take the edge off, or you're looking to make a rash decision because you're unhappy in life? Look at how Marc Bagwell stepped away, went to rehab, turned his life around on the track he's on right now, and may that inspire you to make the best decisions for your life, people.
Oh, for sure. That's a lot of people. They you get caught up with those people that want to blame everything else, and they didn't do this. If you own up to it, that's the first step. Do it for yourself. That's the second step, and staying clean. And that's by far that's how it goes. And great great comment, by the writer, and just it happens. A lot of people don't own up to it, and you're around that every day. And I remove myself from that situation, and I'm not going to be around it, not going to do it.
I've never
It'll work.
met I've never met a substance abuse user that said I'm gonna try it and I'm gonna become addicted to it. I think a lot of people don't understand how many things become addictive, and it's not just hard narcotics; it could be alcohol as well. And many people say, you know what? I think everybody starts off with saying, I'm beyond this. I can have it once or twice. It's not going to affect me. I'm not going to get hooked on it. And there's so many things that we can get hooked on for so many things. Even eating, with how many people have eating disorders, either eating too much or too little. Many of us, and it's not physical, it's a mental thing, as far as how people do that. So I think people need to step away sometimes. And before you make the decision as far as what you're using, what you're eating, what you're ingesting into your body, think about it because you don't always have that control. And again, it's making good decisions for sure. Dodge Morningstar writes in, and he had a Scott Hall moment. Remember, we recently lost Scott Hall, unfortunately, and big part of the wrestling community. And Buff Bagwell has talked about that on several occasions because they were close. And he was saying, I don't know how my mind read it as Scott Steiner instead of Scott Hall, but I was legitimately shook for a moment. So Dodge Morningstar watched our clip on Scott Hall and thought Scott Steiner had passed away. So we're very pleased to tell Dodge Morningstar that Scott Steiner is Big Papa Pump is still very much with us, and it's Scott Hall that has passed, unfortunately. But the eyes can play tricks on us, Jerry. And there are people that sometimes we just think for a second, oh my God, did they passed away? And it can really shake us.
Oh, it can happen very easily, get misconstrued or rumors or what have you. But no, the big voodoo daddy is still with us, strong as ever. And he's still here, and I hate that he got that wrong for sure. I'm glad that didn't go any further, man. We'd be in trouble. He'd be ringing my phone off the hook. What'd y'all do? What'd you do?
Scott Steiner is still with us. And, it was very glad to see him. We brought about this up in the Hall of Fame episode where Scott said that he would never do the Hall of Fame induction. And you know what? He made amends with WWE. He got the induction with his brother. So Scott and Rick Steiner are in the WWE Hall of Fame. That was great to see. Scott being able to put it together. And that's, again, I think you see Scott Steiner in the Hall of Fame, you're going to see Buff Bagwell in the Hall of Fame. That's just the way it's going to go. For
Mm-hmm.
our last comment today, works for Mountain Dew. So the way you work for an alcohol distributor, this guy apparently works for Mountain Dew. Now, do you remember our good friend Todd Plant came on
Yes.
with Howard Helm, and we created wrestling history on this docu series. So back in the day, again, when there was wrestling theme songs like there are today, for whatever reason, they thought to themselves, we don't need to videotape this. We don't have to give the singers credits. So you go and listen to a wrestling theme song. You have no clue 99.99% of the time who the singer was. And you have no videotape of it whatsoever. On our docu-series here for the real Marc Bagwell, the big theme song, Marc Bagwell's favorite theme song, I tell people, is not the Buff Daddy one, even though it's a great one. He loves the American Males one. Well, through all the digging, we found Todd Plant, who is the singer of American Male's theme song. He came on, he sang his heart out. Remember that one, Jerry Hood? And he bang on hit it the same way he did 20 years ago. What it works for Mountain Dew have to say? This made my freaking day. The American Males Live. Thank you.
Good. That's excellent.
we
Wow.
had we had a lot of feedback on Todd Plant, and people were really pleased for it. And, this is literally history. And anybody that's going to research that American Males theme song, and wrestling theme songs being such a big part of wrestling as they are, being able to actually see that singer, watch him, listen to him. I thought that was pretty cool, man. And I'm trying to dig up a couple more people, and we'll see how successful I am with it. They're very obscure, Jerry Hood. Like, there's no credits anywhere unless you know the producer of that song. You cannot dig up these singers; they are nowhere to be found. So you got to find the name, then you got to find out where the heck they are, and then you got to agree, get them to agree to come on the show. So this is a lot of digging. It ain't easy.
Oh, it's tough. The producers of the show, everything. How y'all find them? How'd y'all find me? I think I found y'all, but
You
my
you wrote
agent or something.
You wrote
Yeah.
in on YouTube, and I had to verify you because I didn't believe who you were. And only when you sent me a picture of Marc Bagwell in his shorty shorts and his fanny pack in front of the Ford Mustang back in the 80s did I know you were cousin Jerry Hood.
Wow, that was big. So yeah, but you guys finding everybody, getting in touch with the agents, um, the show, what all goes into it, the editors, everybody behind the scenes. It's tough. I know it is, but y'all do a good job with it, and I know the fans appreciate it. I know Mark appreciates it, and we love it.
Was really neat as well. So Howard Helm coming on with Todd Plant and talking about the making of the American Males theme song and how they located Todd Plant and how they hired him and writing the lyrics of the song. Turned out that Howard Helm and Jimmy Hart were the ones in the background singing the chorus when they say American Males, American Males. That's Howard Helm and Jimmy Hart, believe it or not. So I would have never guessed that Jimmy Hart in a million years. That's them. Hearing the story of the song being made, man, that was epic. Like, honestly, I was like a kid in a candy store listening to that. I am, I have one project, you have one project as well. We're trying to work on more people, obviously, for the docu series this year. I really want to get one of the singers from the Buff Daddy theme song. I'm one away from her now, so I found her. I know she exists. Now we just got to get her to agree to come on the show. So we are this close, Jerry Hood, and I will keep you posted. And I know you're working on a very big guest as well. So let's get them on here. The fans are clamoring for them, and we're gonna have a ton of fun in 2023 for the real Marc Bagwell.
Let's do it.
Amazing. Thank you for your insights as always, cousin Jerry Hood. And we'll see you back next week. Until then, stay safe and you'll be in Alabama soon. Cheers.